Jeff, how you doing this morning?
Great, JJ. Good morning.
You guys pulled out that big win this week, and kind of a fashion that we haven't seen this team be able to, turn up the offense there. What does it mean for you guys to be able to adjust and do that?
Well, it was a conscious decision we had made during the week. It was a tip of the hat to their offense, their quarterback, their receivers. They had been playing together so long and playing so well that we just made a decision. We were going to be in 4-down territory no matter where we were. We were going to take our shots no matter where we were. And that's what that was. I let our kids go play. Frank has continued to get better. He understands the offense more and more each week. We've been together 22 months. Bailey's been running his offense for 4 years. So it just takes time. It's the old Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hour rule. It takes time. And Frank just, has all the RPOs now. He makes all those decisions. He's got run, hand it to Sincere, pitch it options. He checks in and out of plays now. So it's just, we're giving him more. We've got great players too now. We got to go let our guys go play. And we try to play team football. And our defense has been so good since we've been here that we've ran the ball and been more conservative at times to complement our defense and complement our great punter and our great kicker. So we just felt as a staff that was not the right decision this week, and we were going to play a different way this week.
Jeff, you guys have been in a lot of close games since you got here, really. And last season, we saw some of them not go your way. This season, all of them have gone your way. What does that say about your team being able to execute down the stretch of these close games?
Well, even last year, we were probably 5-3 in close games. So we gained some confidence. And so you're already spoiled, JJ. You're already believing they didn't go our way. 5-3 in college football is not bad in close games. You've been eating the cheese, JJ. You got to stop doing that. But you're right. Getting that success last year, JJ, helped us with our confidence this year. And we've been blessed too. This game, I know this, JJ, in my career, we've been luckier when our players were better, and we've got really good players right now. We're really deep. But that play by Clarence Hicks to finish the game off was as good a play as I've ever seen personally coaching. In the moment, I thought it was. And now that I've watched it on video, he did a great job rerouting number 2, and then the diving interception was just phenomenal.
Greg? Jeff, JT became the first player in program history with 3 receiving touchdowns. We talked about him a little bit after the game, but what did it mean to see after all the work that he's put in that he was able to hit that milestone?
It's just such a humble spirit, beautiful smile. He's all about the team at all times. He does a great job covering kicks. He does a great job on our punt return team. Anything you ask him to do, JT going to get it done. I didn't even know it was John Thomas, and that was his middle name. So I learned something. I love nicknames. I have more nicknames for these kids. I never even knew. So I'm glad I learned that this week. It's what happens when you bring kids to the radio show. And he did a great job at the radio show and learned a little bit more about my man.
And we saw he was part of a lot of deep shots that you guys took in this game. Is it just sort of part of the offensive philosophy to give your guys a chance when they have one-on-ones on the outside, or is it certain matchups you look for? Kind of how do you guys decide when to go for that sort of play?
It's a matchup always in every decision we make. Even when we call inside zone, it's always about matchups, and then it's scheme, and then it's the situation. So it's always a little more than you think. Some teams just won't give us that. Some teams just play a certain coverage where you can't do that. And I know that's when media guys say, well, why didn't you throw it down there? You did it last week. Well, guess what? Their coaches like to pay their light bills. They like to keep their jobs, so they coach too. So they're going to make adjustments and try to do different things to us. So it just depends on the matchup, the scheme, and the situation.
How did you feel about the offensive line performance against Western Kentucky? We didn't touch on them in postgame.
The best we've been this year. We were clean. We were very clean, and they took the challenge. whenever the head coach in a team meeting goes after a group, which I don't do that often, and the reason I can, because of the relationship I have with my players. I mean, they know how much I love them and I want them to do good. So I really challenge their O-line all week. I've got great coaches. So Coach Maddox, my brother, Cutter, our GA, those guys take that personal. And they really got after their guys this week. And I could tell by the look in their eyes they were going to play fantastic. And, man, they really did. I made a soft bet for them last week. If you remember, they didn't get to practice. Well, they all practiced all week. So they all got to work together all week. So they were in great unison, and they played extremely well. That's always where the game was won or lost, up front. We always talk about the JTs of the world and, sincere, and that's fun, but it's always the guys up front.
What does that look like when you challenge a group or try to get them fired up? Like, what kind of things do you say, or how do you go about that?
Probably just like your boss when he calls you in and doesn't like the article you wrote. I mean, you just kind of tell him like, hey, Greg, man, cut the head coach some slack. He's 6-0 and you're still beating him up on certain situations. Cut him some slack. And you're like, okay, my boss said it. He's probably telling the truth. I need to cut him some slack and be nicer to the head coach. Those kind of deals, Greg.
JJ?
Jeff, we saw the Roadrunners get some more votes in the national polls this week, but are you surprised that UTSA was not ranked?
I would never bring up in a team meeting that we're the only undefeated team not ranked. It would be a violation of our culture pillar. So I would never, ever do such a thing, JJ. But I have a feeling our kids know. We're a new school. Memphis thinks we're the United States Tennis Association. That people don't even know what our initials stand for at times. We're just new. And back when Fran and Gary Patterson were turning around TCU, they used to mess up what they called them too. And now everybody knows who TCU is, right? They've done a great job building that place. And that's what we want to do here. We want this thing to be built to last. And if we're good enough, JJ, we'll end up there. If we're not, we won't. We control that. So let's go play really good football. Let's be the best students we can be today. Let's watch video on our own today. And let's prepare for a Rice team now that don't kid yourself. You play Houston, you play Arkansas, you play Texas. That's a tough schedule. Whatever AD made that schedule for Rice, and that was tough on those kids. And they've won 2 in a row, open week. It's a perfect little setup for them because they're undefeated in conference play, as are we.
We're at the midway point of the season, and I know you don't like to look forward, but just looking back, while there's certainly things you want to improve on, how would you say you would grade your team, after 6 wins, being 6-0?
We don't look at the record at all. I think you guys are starting to believe me. My guys didn't even know we were bowl eligible. We don't look at it. We look at it as what we really need to look at to get better. And there are certain areas of our team that we have to get cleaned up. And I don't really want to talk about it right here in front of everybody. I'll let them figure that out by watching their own video. But we've got a lot of stuff to clean up. We're not a finished product yet. You said it. We're at the midway point. Our kids are taking midterms this week. The grades will be given out in December. And you and Greg will have y'all's little end of year show that I would never watch, right? I don't even know y'all do that, right? And y'all will assess us and you will talk about us and review us and y'all will give us our grade. And that's what we're working towards. We're at midterm right now. We've got a huge test Saturday and we got to prepare for that test. And I'm not trying to duck your question, but I know you and Greg will do a great job of assessing us at the midway point.
Greg,
Just hope the lights don't go out on y'all this time.
we learn to work through the conditions. It's part of our triangle. And
Mental toughness. I like it, Greg. I like it.
Right. I'm learning a little bit here. One of the things from this game is we didn't get to see Jamal Ligon out there. I'm wondering kind of what's his status going forward.
Yeah, there was a few guys missing. Old Greg is going to not miss any of them. We'll see. I hope he can go this Saturday. He's an extremely tough kid. If anybody can, he's like Zukari Franklin, how much he loves football. We hope he's back this weekend. We'll know more. Tomorrow's practice, we'll see what he can do, and we hope he's back. We miss him. He's a tough one of our leaders, single-digit guy. But man, we were very, very pleased. Trevor always shows up, but man, Drew Parks is playing really good, as is Feaster. So those guys did a really good job taking his reps from him last week.
Yeah, and you mentioned Zukari Franklin as well. Is that something you think you guys will have to manage through the year? Or do you think they'll hit a point where he can kind of get back into the flow of things pretty normally? What's the process with him?
Yeah, we don't know when that's going to be, but we expect it to start trending up from here on out. So I would say he was 65, 70% Saturday, and I'm hoping, he'll just continue to trend. I wouldn't expect him to be 100% tomorrow, but with that kid, who knows? His 75% is pretty doggone good.
How about in terms of the fan support and kind of rallying people to the Dome? What kind of steps do you want to take this week to try to bring that out? Any more, food giveaways planned and things of that?
Yeah, we're going to do tacos and rice and try to, get our student body excited and maybe fill that Alamo dump. And we might be gaseous at the same time by getting on that much food, but we hope the student body's been fantastic, as our band always is, and our cheer squad. It's San Antonio that we've got to get, more of. I mean, there's 22,000 there, whatever that was last week. I don't know exactly. Whatever it was, it sounded like 40,000. They're incredibly loud. We're grateful for the people that are there. Our job is to put a great product on the field. And if we keep putting a great product on the field and we keep recruiting locally and we have good players that are good people, we're the best value per hour, money-wise, you could find. I mean, it's a great place to watch a game. It's 72 degrees, and our band is awesome, and the graphics. It's just a fun place. I mean, I really love coaching there. I love it here. I just want everybody to love it here and come cheer for my kids. And if they don't, they don't. And we can't control it, Greg, but surely, eventually, this thing's going to get back to 30, 35,000 each Saturday. We really hope that, but we can't control it. So we're just going to keep trying to play good ball and hope they'll come watch us.
Do you notice a difference week by week when you're out among the students or what you see on social media or the people you interact with? Do you see that kind of that surging a little bit here? There's
no doubt. I mean, just everybody's so kind. Wherever I go, I've got my little spots I hit, and everybody's just, it was great. Last week, I was getting a salad, a little spot I always go to, and the two girls that were in front of me, they were ladies. They were talking about the Roadrunners, and they didn't know who I was from Adam. And they were just chatting up. I hear they've got a really good team, and the guy waiting on us had on his Roadrunner mask. And they said, "Did you go to school there?" He's like, "Yes, I went to school there." And they're like, "Man, we hear they've got a really good team this year." And he was like, "They really do. They're great. You should go watch them." And he knows me because I always go there, but he didn't know I was right behind them. And so they left. And he looked up at me, and I mean, it's like he had seen a ghost. He's like, "Coach Traylor, I didn't even see you there." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm glad you were saying really nice things right then. I was fixing to get you right now." So it's starting to be more of a talk and more of a buzz, and we just gotta, it's always just one person at a time. I think about my mom. She gave me a poem many, many years ago about the old man on the beach on the starfish, and he reached down and threw the starfish out, out in the water. And some old gripey man's like, "You can't save all those starfish." And the gentleman said back, "Yeah, I know, but I just saved that one." And that really is what it is. We just got to do it one fan at a time. One will turn into two, two to four, four to eight. Y'all know how I love to do that. 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, all the way up, right? We just got to keep doing it one at a time.
JJ.
Jeff, I wanted to circle back to the offense on Saturday. We saw some new wrinkles we hadn't seen. Was that just a function of, the opponent you guys were playing, or you think some of that we'll see as the season goes on some more?
We've got them. We work them all the time, and we've got about 15 of them that we just polish them up a little bit here and there. We call it spaced repetition. Just get a little bit of it occasionally, and those have been in the playbook since we've been here. It's just a matter, again, a matchup, scheme, and situation. That's the way it always works. And, I've got good players that I trust. So I'm going to put those guys in the best position we can to hopefully do well. And that's all that was, JJ. We've had it. You don't do things like that. Some guys believe in that. I don't believe in just doing stuff like, okay, on Thursday, we're going to decide to run this play. That our stuff has been in since the day we got here. Now, you just didn't see a lot of it last year. We didn't do much last year. We didn't have the time to do it. So we've added, more and more as we've been here together, and we had a lot of our players returning. So there's a lot of, built-in knowledge in their head from reps we got last year that we didn't even run it. Now, almost everything that we did Saturday that y'all seen before, it might have just been more of it in one game. It was spread out for different games and I'm not sure. I'm sure you'll fact check me on that, JJ, but I think we've done almost all that at some point during last year.
And then what do you expect from Rice in this game? You mentioned they had a bye week, and they're coming at you guys pretty strong this week. Just they'd like to give you guys your first loss. Is that something that's kind of emphasis this week?
Well, we just dove into them last night, so our analysts and our GAs are always 1 week ahead of us. So they gave us the scouting report last night. We worked on them quite a bit. We got in very late. When you get home at 4 a.m. on Sunday morning, you got to get the video graded, which we did most of that on the plane. But you still got to get it all typed up for your players. You want to give those kids their 24 hours to celebrate. And we did a great job of celebrating, enjoying the moment. So we haven't just got to watch them a ton yet. But I know from last year, they got a lot of those guys back. They're very complex on offense and defense. They do a lot of stuff. I mean, everybody knows how smart their kids are. They've got a bunch of really smart players, high character players. They're scrappy. They're tough. And it's a Conference USA ball game. And from covering us, it'll be a one-possession ball game. All of our games are. It'll go right down to the very end. And a champion has the ability to play one play longer than his opponent. And we just got to play one play longer than them again this Saturday.
Greg? They're more of a run-based team at Rice, especially compared to the opponent you just faced. I'm curious, with your defense, do you feel like your personnel and your preferred style of play is sort of more suited against some of these ground-based teams, or how do you feel like you match up best?
I feel good about our players. It doesn't matter what style. We just hope they're not as good as, some of those guys are good. I mean, we can talk about our defense all you want to, but the rules are made where the offense is supposed to go score points. I mean, that's what fans want to see. So the rules are made that way. It's tough to play defense. And I fault myself, Greg, for not giving us a great plan the first half. I underestimated, which I've already mentioned to you once, their O-line. I didn't think their O-line would block us like they did, and they rushed for 180 yards. So I'm mad at myself for making that decision. I'm a human. I'm an imperfect coach, coaching imperfect players, and there's going to be imperfection. So I don't think that I did a poor evaluation of talent, and I don't do that very often. That's one of the things I am pretty good at, and I made a mistake. So our kids at halftime, we adjusted, and we got the box a little heavier, and let our corners go play a little more. And we've got good corners, and those guys can cover. And so I don't know. It's just so much a matchup that we prefer. We as a staff, Coach Lepp, Coach Wright, and I had to do a better job of assessing talent and getting our kids in the right position. Again, matchup, scheme, situation. It's always about the players first and foremost, and then we have a little bit to do with it, and then the situation.
One of the things you mentioned after the game that I thought was pretty interesting when Frank was talking and you mentioned about working victory formation from the 1 yard line the day before. How often do you kind of let intuition maybe guide you in situations like that, or does something like that come?
Yeah, I don't call them analytics. I call them manalytics, right? I'm not into that book. I mean, it's cool, and I look at it just to to know, because I know what y'all guys are going to ask. Because it's easy nowadays. You can look at an analytics book and question the coach. There's some reporters, that's what they do. They literally like, well, the book says this. Well, the book's not on that sideline. The book doesn't know who's hurt, who's not right, and where the matchup is about players. So, that's just how I feel about that. Intuition's huge for me. And I've been doing it a long time. And my intuition is when my players are better than the other guys' players, I'm smarter a whole lot more than I am dumb. And I've got really good players right now, and they're making me look really good right now.
What is the most kind of interesting or unusual situation you've ever had to or felt like dialing up in one of those walkthroughs, similar to kind of victory formation from the 1 yard line? Is there anything unusual you guys have ever gone to, just kind of on a hunch?
Y'all want to hear about high school days, but there's just a lot of stories like that. That last state championship we won at Gilmer, I lost my best wide receiver. He died playing basketball in a pickup game. And I remember like it was yesterday, the week we played Glaywater in round 4. Y'all have to fact check me on this, but whatever time I picked for the 2-minute drill, I think I picked 56 seconds, no timeouts. We're down 4, balls on the -11. And I kid you not, when our offense took the field, it was the exact situation we had worked on, and we scored on the play we worked on, draw from like the 30-yard line with the running back. And I literally said to my staff, our Desmond Pollard was the receiver's name. I'm like, Dez had all that under control, I can promise you. So that's not college football, but there's one of those true stories that was pretty cool.
Okay, JJ, back to you.
Jeff, any idea what to expect this week from the fan support? I mean, you guys are red hot. Nobody's been this hot before in this program's history, and I know that's kind of outside your lane. But I mean, would there be a message you had to fans on the fence?
Well, I loved what we did in our marketing department. I think we were 5-0 last week, so they gave half price off of the tickets. I thought that was pretty cool. Kevin Brown has done a great job with my DFO, just reaching out to our alumni, just trying to get them to come. I think once they come, they'll really enjoy it. I think they'll be shocked at how selfless our team is and how they cheer for each other, how they're into the game with each other. It's refreshing. They're a breath of fresh air. I mean, they really are. And they're kids. And that's what I would ask, is just give them a chance. I think if you'll come once, you'll come back. You'll be hooked. And I know I enjoy coaching them. And I know everybody thinks it's because of the winning, but I'm going to love them the same no matter what. We don't talk about winning and losing. We just don't talk about it. There's a time to talk about it. In the 4-minute situation, and that's what we're hired to do as coaches, to take care of those situations. Our players don't need to think about that stuff, man. Pressure's a privilege. Go play. Have fun. And that's what I want my kids to always do.
Greg?
Jeff, you guys are obviously operating at a really high level on offense, but if there's anything to nitpick, we haven't seen some of these explosive plays in the run game. Is there anything that you guys are missing to be able to get that to pop off at some point?
Just people are that committed. They're just that committed to stopping him. And when they go into the game, I feel like every team, and no one just makes it that simple, right, Greg? They're still mixing and matching. They're not like – that's why we've given it more to Frank, so Frank can get us right. And I know it's easy to second guess. Well, 4-minute offense, we didn't hand the ball sincere one time. Well, they're not going to let us unless y'all just want them to have everybody's in there right now. But they play it way different when they've got to get you off the field. And you're going to have to call plays you don't want to call, because they're going to make you. Nobody's good enough to just, Earl Campbell, Eric Dickerson, there's a few guys that were just that physically superior. They could run over everybody. So they're making a huge conscious effort to stop Sincere McCormick, which is allowing us to throw the ball to some really good wide receivers. And that's where we're trying to get this thing, Greg, where they just have to choose their own poison. and let Frank make us right and get us in the right play call. And I just believe in my kids. I mean, I make my mind up before the game. If we go down, this is the way it's going to look. And I'm going to give my great players chances to make plays. And if people don't like that, that's just what I believe. I believe in my kids, and I'm going to give my kids a chance. And I know we are probably, well, then find a way to get sincere to the ball. Wherever you put him, there are going to be two of them on him. I don't care where you put him. They're going to have two on number 3, and which makes it easier for everybody else. And when they don't, we got to get it to him. When they don't, Frank's got to know when that is and get the play called right and get it to him.
Anything else for Coach Traylor? All right. Thanks, everyone.
Man, thank y'all.
Thanks,
God bless.
Chef.
Birds up.